Welcome back, brothers and sisters and Heyokas. In this video, I just want to talk about an experience that I had that changed my life quite drastically. It's reshaped everything that I'm doing, and the experience I'm going to be talking about is my first DmT trip. I'll give you a little bit of background into why I wanted to do it in the first place. I had a stroke New Year's Eve, about 8 o'clock, New Year's Eve 2019, and after that I found myself, questioning my own mortality and feeling, I'm not afraid to say it, I'm very scared to die. With experiencing the aftermath of the stroke and all the anxiety and the new feelings that I was being subjected to, I was listening to a particular podcast. I think it was on the Joe Rogan one, might have been Graham Hancock, about ancient civilizations and stuff. And on that podcast, I heard them talking about the fact that when you took the psychedelic DMT, which I'd never even heard of up until then, that you could actually go to the places that you go to when you die and actually talk to God. I'd never been religious or anything in my life, never gone to church or anything, but something resonated inside of me, and that put me on a little quest of research. So I started looking into DMT, and I found out it was a pretty amazing substance, really. I've read Dr. Rick Strassman's book, Spirit Molecule, DMT, the Spirit Molecule, a very good read. Dan Baker's DMT Guide? That's another good read, well worth it. And I did a lot of research on YouTube, and into the Amazonian uses of DMT snuff, and obviously ayahuasca. The more I looked into it, the more it was resonating with me, and the more the decision was made for me to stick my foot in and have a look, see what it was all about. So armed with my my new knowledge, I went out to seek some DMT. I got hold of some changa, which isn't quite free-base DMT, but it is the same drug with a few extra additives in with it as well. But I've since done DMT, and it's exactly the same trip. You go to exactly the same place as you do on changa, so let's just put that out there for now. I got this changa, and obviously I was aware of the seriousness of this substance, this medicine. So it's not a party drug. It's just it's the spirit molecule, like I said, so it has to be taken seriously. And from my research, I divulged that meditating beforehand would be a very good option. I'd never meditated in my life before, so it was the first time that I'd ever meditated before doing my first hit of DMT. So I set all my bong up and everything all ready, so I could just do the meditation and then get up from the meditation and just go straight into the hit. So I had the bong already made up, and a couple of extra little bits ready to top up if need be. And I laid down on my living room floor and put some shamanic drumming on YouTube, and I proceeded to meditate for the first time in my life, which in itself was a very profound experience for me. I found myself, I mean, I've experienced it quite a few times since, so I know what it is now. But back then, I didn't know what it was. I was led down on a couple of blankets on the floor, and it would, like, all of a sudden, I would just sort of like jump, and my mind would feel like it flipped. And I know now that it was actually my state of consciousness changing into a different, different state of brain patterns. So yeah, this happened a few times while I was meditating. And at one point, I mean, I live in a first floor flat, so I've got, about that much solid concrete between me and the people that live downstairs. At one point, I actually felt like I was melted into my concrete floor. Best way I could describe it, I suppose, is like, if you're at a beach and like you dig a quite large hole and then, sit your bum in it, so it's sort of like, halfway up your backs and halfway up your legs, sort of like, sat in a little pit like this. I felt like I was in that position on my concrete floor, and there was no way that I could really have been in that position on the concrete floor. So yeah, it was quite an enjoyable experience. Yeah, after a time, I felt I needed the toilet, so I kind of snapped out of one of my little moments where consciousness had changed and I'd wandered off a little bit. And yeah, I thought, oh God, I need the toilet. So I got up, and obviously I had my phone on silent in another room. So I just pressed the timer, pressed the button to see what time it was, rather. And yeah, I thought I'd just been meditating for about half an hour when my intention was to do it for an hour. And then when I pressed the button on my phone, I was very shocked to see that actually an hour and a half had gone by. So yeah, I went to the toilet, came back, and I still had the shamanic drumming going on the YouTube, on the TV in the background. And then I sat down and fired up the bong. So yeah, like I said, I had the bong all ready to go. I said a few little prayers beforehand, because I was scared. And I lit the bong up, and I took a great big lungful. And obviously, from the research I'd done, I was well aware that to blast off out of your body and go and speak to God and go to the places where you go when you die, it was well documented you needed 3 tokes on the bong. So yeah, I had my first toke on the bong, held it in for about 20-30 seconds, and slowly exhaled. And as I started slowly exhaling, my world around me just started going wavy. And it was at that point I felt very surprised, very shocked at how quickly it takes effect, and more importantly, how strong it was. So I blew out that lungful of the smoke, and in my mind, because I wanted to blast off, I knew that I needed another toke on the bong. So I picked the bong up, my lighter, and I thought I was burning the bong again. There was some residual smoke still in it. So I lit my lighter, but by this time I was tripping my balls off and I was tracing like mad. So where I was holding the bong and the lighter like that in front of me, when I'm looking at it through my physical eyes, it looked like it was moving all like this, all shaking around. So where I thought I was lighting it again, I actually wasn't, and I just sucked out what was residual in the bottle from the first hit. So then I put that down then, and I just went into this little into this little trip where I wasn't out of body, but I could see myself sat at my table before I took the hit of DMT, and I started living out. It was a bit like a lucid dream almost. I started living out a period of time that had already happened before I took the DMT. It was it was, well, trippy. And then I actually realised, like as you do in a lucid dream, I realised that I was actually high now and that I had had a hit. So when I told myself that, it sort of instantly flicked, and my whole vision in front of me, I can't remember if I had my eyes open or closed at this point, but everything just greyed out, and in all my surroundings all I could see was grey. And then, like, in the very distant of my vision, sort of in my headspace then, I suppose, I could just see these yellow, they were like yellow sort of like streams, and all waving around like this, and they started coming from a very small center point and then coming towards me and getting bigger, and it just had these like yellow streams, and they were all like waving around like this, and you know, coming up by my face. And they had like little bright white lights sporadically flashing on them as well. And then all of a sudden I could see, like, you know, like a sort of basic oblong shape, and that was in the distance, and it started coming towards me. But like, this was also yellow, but the yellow streams in this little yellow oblong shaped, it looked exactly like yellow neon lighting, you know, like the tube lighting you get. So it was yellow neon lighting, but in these shapes. So yeah, this little oblong started coming bigger and bigger and bigger, and as it got closer and closer, I could see that it had two eyes and a mouth. It just, you know, just like a little round mouth and two little round eyes. And then this thing came into my headspace, and he then started playing with me. And as I was observing him, he started sort of, you know, he was coming in like this, and coming up to me and waving around, and all the time, all these little streams, the yellow neon streams, were going all around him, and it sort of like looked like it was all coming out the top of his head and stuff. And then, yeah, he just come up to me this one time, and he tilted his head like this, and then as he came into my face, he opened his mouth and went, "Whoa." And as he did that, I was very taken aback to see that he had these really quite scary, massive, sharp teeth. But for some reason, I wasn't scared. I don't know why, because that would normally frighten the shit out of me. But yeah, like I said, I wasn't frightened at all. And I don't know if I said it aloud or if I said it inside my head, but I said it exactly like this. I was like, "You got some nasty teeth." And with that, we had like a non-verbal sort of, you know, communication, where he then burst into a great big massive smile, still sporting the great big spiky horrible teeth, I will add. But yeah, he just looked very happy and joyful, and he was letting me know that he knew that I wasn't scared of him, and we sort of had this like non-verbal communication. So with that, when we'd established I wasn't scared, he stayed in the same sort of entity appearance as he was, with the yellow neon, and then he just carried on playing with a big smile with the teeth. And then it started morphing into like an Aztec mask. Like if you see them drawn in black and white, and they've got like the double lines around the edges, and he had like little mauve triangles all around the edges, and then some of the background started to go into you know, like the Aztecs and the Mayan sort of shapes with the squares and stuff. Oh, well, actually, like that, like my tattoo there. And oh yeah, incidentally, while we're talking about tattoos, this on my t-shirt is that tattoo on my arm, which is my little rendition, my homage to the DMT man that welcomed me in. And this is the representation of the man with the yellow. Yeah, where was I? Yeah, so then it turned into the Aztec patternings, and then all of a sudden, time seemed to stop, and the music, like the drumming music then that was coming through the telly paused and was like boom, and that made me turn to my left to look at the TV, and the picture on the TV was just like, you know, shaking like this, like, and everything seemed to just be, you know, resonating. And I was a little puzzled by it, and then all of a sudden I was just catapulted into this completely sort of 5D environment where everything around me, I can't describe what it was around me. It was just something, but it was all, everything was just waving around me. And it was much like, you know, if you've got two people each holding an end of the bed sheet, and then, you know, the one goes like that and waves it, but very slowly, you know, these waves were, you know, nice and calm like that. It was very much like that. So it was like being inside of a bed sheet that was just flopping around all around me. And there was also some sporadic bits of black and white checkerboard. I thought it was because I'm a bit of a Vans fan and checkerboard mad, but no, checkerboard is something to do with the universe. They have it in all the Masonic lodges as well. I can't quite remember what it is now then. I don't know if it resembles light and dark or something like that, you know, the balance. So yeah, I'm sort of observing this with the checkerboard and in all, and then all of a sudden these two-dimensional shapes, they were sort of like long rectangular shapes, but with like a very sharp sort of angle on the top. So I'm sort of observing this 5D sort of background with the checkerboard coming past it every now and again, and then these 5D shapes are just like, and they're like just poking out of the background and then coming back in, and then coming out somewhere else and back in. And it was a bit like, you know, what was it, Battle Rat or whatever the game's called, you know. So yeah, I was just, you know, just observing what I was seeing around me and in front of me. And I suppose this went on for about 3 minutes. And then that vision of the 5D background just dissipated, and I was just left then with like geometric patterns, like triangles, stars and stuff like that, but, you know, a bit more intricate than just triangles and stars. So yeah, then like that sort of started fading away, because like I had open eyes at this point and I was seeing the geometry with open eyes before, but now probably about 5 minutes had gone by, and the geometry and the visuals with open eyes are now going, but when I closed my eyes, the geometry and stuff came back, and then if I open my eyes, the visual of the trip, the geometry would actually overlap reality for a short period of time, and then, you know, just sort of melt away. And I was able to do that for a few minutes just to sort of, you know, prolong the experience out a little bit more. And yeah, like eventually I came right down, stopped tripping, and within sort of like 15-20 minutes I felt like I felt like I hadn't done anything at all. I was just so surprised. how clean and how quickly, how quickly and cleanly you feel after taking it. But yeah, if you read the spirit molecule, you'll understand that, the brain, if you don't know this already, the brain produces dimethyltryptamine, at various different points of our life: birth, death, sexual orgasms, and various other moments. So with it being an endogenous chemical, it's processed, extremely quickly. And with it being an endogenous chemical, there's no sort of nasty after effects like you get when you take chemical-based hallucinogens, which are actually poisoning your system. So yeah, that's about it for my first DMT trip, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If anyone wants to ask any questions or anything, feel free, shoot away in the comment section. If not, then good. So we'll leave it there for tonight, guys. I've got another video coming out very soon, which is going to be instinct equals intuition equals alignment, and I will be releasing some more shorts very soon too. So I hope you tune in for all those too, please, guys. So yeah, I'm going to leave it there now then. Be safe, be strong. I am Heyoka. I am. We are. Namaste.